It should have been the day of the Italian trade union leaders, but it turned out to be their greatest failure. Yesterday in Taranto, Italy, there has been a demonstration against the closure of the hot working area of the Ilva steelworks. In the town main square, at least 8,000 workers were expected to be, the same as on the 30th of March, when there was the protest against the action of the investigating judge of Taranto, Ms. Patrizia Tedesco. To this new call, instead, only 2,000 workers have responded. The reason stands in the fact that the plant has caused and continues to cause disease and death, also for children. Those who manage the steelworks have continued in those polluting activities with consciousness, aiming only to their own profit, trampling on the most elementary rules of safety. House arrests have been issued for 8 executives, including the owner, Mr. Emilio Riva, and his son. The charge is that of environmental disaster. Seals have been placed in 6 departments of the hot park stores: the coke oven batteries, the sintering area, the blast furnaces, the steelworks, and the iron materials management. On the eve of the review of the restraint measure, the trade unions have decided to come over for the first time to Taranto, maybe to coerce the judge's decision. 2 demonstrations, moving from 2 different locations, the first one from the stone bridge in the old town and the second one from the square in front of the naval dockyard, reached the main square in Piazza della Vittoria. The union leaders were immediately challenged by people present even before the arrival of the Committee of Free-Thinking Workers and Citizens.
Se si dovesse chiudere l'Ilva nell'arco di pochi mesi.
Mr. Angeletti, representative of UIL, the Italian Federation of Trade Unions, said that the closure of the plant would mean the loss of thousands of jobs, but no mention about the protection of the health for the workers in the factory. Mr. Bonanni, representative of CISL, the Italian Confederation of Trade Unions, spoke of social crisis if the judge imposes the shutdown. Ms. Camuso, representative of CGIL, the left-wing Federation of Italian Trade Unions, said that the problem cannot be solved with a halt to the plants. Ilva is a resource for the whole country. It was the turn of Mr. Landini, representative of FIOM, the Italian Federation of Factory Workers, when the procession of the Committee of Free-Thinking Workers and Citizens finally arrived.
Siamo qui per dire che il governo deve intervenire, siamo qui per continuare assieme. Stop ragazzi, ci fanno parlare.
From this moment on, there has been a real debacle for the trade unions, a moment unique in history, because for the first time the citizens and the workers of Taranto spoke up. A group of about 30 people on board of a small trike truck with a minimal sound system installed in it appeared in Piazza della Vittoria. It is you, the ruin of this country is you," the people shouted at the trade unions leaders. Their intentions were not quarrelsome. A trike truck is not a tank, although some national newspapers affirmed it was. 2 smoke bombs, a red one, a white one, 2 eggs and a bit of water splashed have become, as to the same national media, riots and blitz against the unions. The square, that before the arrival of the procession of protestant workers was completely empty, was soon crowded with people. Some have tried to overcome the barriers to get to the stage, but the main microphone had already been removed and made to disappear. Also disappeared unionists. "Let us talk, let us go," We are not puppets, we have a brain. Guys, wake up, wake up, the workers continued. We have asked for the floor, and we were denied. We want to talk. Let us express and then judge us. At a certain point, a voice from the main loudspeaker informed that, as to the trade unions, the event was over. But the workers answered, "Go to work. You are the servants of Riva," who is the president and owner of Ilva Steelworks. Eventually, the representative of the Committee of Free-Thinking Workers and Citizens, Mr. Cataldo Ranieri, who is an Ilva worker and a former representative of FIOM, read a statement.
Così prepotentemente, ma è la rabbia dei lavoratori e dei cittadini che per la prima volta.
Now we will speak. Since now the trade unions did not take any interest in us. I apologize if we take the floor like this, but this is the result of the anger of citizens. We asked to intervene, but we were not even answered. For the first time, citizens and workers are together. Trade unions and factory are together as usual. In 50 years, Ilva has caused hundreds of deaths on the job and thousands of that outside due to the pollution. We have chosen not to march in this parade to support the positions of the unions. And we do not even want to defend the company. And especially, we do not want to oppose the decisions of the judge. We are free because we have decided to break the chains of employment blackmail that has kept in check for 50 years many workers and a whole city. We do not want to give up our dignity as citizens and workers, forced to choose between health and work. No civilized country would allow what is happening here. And our payslip also had tumors, because for years you have played on our life and that of our children. You are 50 years of shame. The union has never bothered to defend our rights. Yesterday, the city of Taranto has awakened from a long sleep, the long sleep induced by political and trade unions. Politicians have always denied that Taranto was the victim of an environmental disaster. They have denied our right to life, health and safe and clean work. Before the industrial giants, the politicians have taken their steps back. Now, in less than 10 days, the situation has changed. They have recognized that in Taranto there is an environmental, health, but also a social disaster. Now the city will have to deal with the reality that there is no gap between health and work. The pollution has been experienced by citizens as well as environmentalists in the hospital wards, but it has always been denied by the political class that has turned a blind eye and has garnered favour and approval by the owners, all at the expense of citizens. A representative of the trade unions cannot start a speech with words like, "We show our solidarity to the 8 managers of Ilva that have been arrested, because this is shameful." The people that they defend are the same people that have bullied and threatened us for years inside the factory. We know that trade unions are useless in Taranto. There is a system overwhelming us because somebody decided that Taranto must be a place for sacrifice, that the workers must be like cannon fodder, and that the citizens must be considered like side effects. We don't want this anymore. Taranto in 10 days has turned out to be the Italian engine of the steel. Without Taranto, the country is lost. But if the price to pay is that of death and pain, then this price is no longer good for citizens and workers. As a citizen, I want to thank the judge, Mr. Disco, because after 50 years they have realized that we have some problems down here. But this is because it is the profit of the state and of the politicians that has been jeopardized. Politicians, you never wanted to listen to the cry of despair from the mothers, the fathers, and from all the citizens of Taranto and the hospital wards. Shame on you! The employment blackmail has kept us in check for years, and it has been our ruin. We cannot allow ourselves to be scared by them anymore, as we have faced death. The tumors are the most scary thing. This is only the beginning. Taranto is raising up against all threats and all blackmails. If you decide to close the factory, it will no longer be the citizen of Taranto to starve, but also the entire nation. If the factory were to continue the production, then only the citizen will die. In the first case, you should immediately find a solution for the nation. In the second case, the solution could be expected for a long time, as it has happened in the past 50 years. Yesterday, on a banner, somebody wrote, "No more blackmails. Get going for rights." Taranto has paid the price with the blood of the people. How long shall we mourn our dead for the sake of a country that has abandoned us?